Welcome to Coddiwompling Along the Tao with Noel Eastwood, and in this episode I'm going to take you by the hand and we are going to meet your Sun and Moon archetypes from your own personal chart. Now let me just go up to my other screen over here and let's have a look at a few things. First of all, this chart is whole sign. That means the houses are all 30 degrees exactly, and they start at 0 degrees of the sign. And we start the chart from the sign that is the same as the ascendant. So this chart has the ascendant in Aquarius. So the first house starts with Aquarius, the second then goes on to Pisces, and then we start Aries, Taurus, okay? So it depends on what your ascendant sign is. That means these planets, Saturn and Jupiter, are in the first house. This is a random chart. I did it a couple of days ago so that I could put these nice green circles on and get you started. This is a meditation that I came across many years ago. Hang on, I'll try and get this book. Here we go. I pulled a muscle on my shoulder. Yeah. Okay, this is the book back in the good old 80s. Edwin Steinbrecher, with an H, The Inner Guide Meditation, Spiritual Technology for the 21st Century. Okay, what a find that is. 1980 something or other. Anyway, that's my second book. I wore the first one out. Edwin Steinbrecher developed a program called the Inner Guide Meditation. And what it is, using a Jungian approach to astrology and tarot. And he outlines how he has developed this program to go and meet your astrology archetypes and your tarot archetypes. Great book. If you can, get it. I've done this meditation myself countless times. And I've used the Sun and the Moon in therapy with my hypnotherapy clients because it works. When I get stuck and I'm working with someone that goes into trance fairly easily and works quite well, and look, even with clients that don't, it works with. And the moment that I introduce the Sun and the Moon archetypes, I now have allies on the inside, in their inner world. No longer am I the one that's calling the shots and guiding the person. The Sun and Moon will take over in their inner world when they're doing their meditations. That's really critical to healing. That empowering the individual is what I like to do. That's why I do all this stuff. I'm not the guru. I'm a teacher. That's my background, is teaching anyway. And so I like to teach people what I've found has worked for me and for others. And if it works for them, probably work for you. So the first thing that we do is we get out, you get out your astrology chart, put it in front of you, and let's have a look. Where is your Sun? Now, I'm going to use this random chart from a couple of days ago and walk through this as an example because I don't have everybody's charts here. Sun, keywords for Sun, reason for incarnating, the purpose of being, the essence of life, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your vibrancy, your vigor and ego. A good, healthy Sun is really, 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 really important. But even polyaspected suns in the inner world will do their utmost to help you. And that's the difference between looking at an astrology chart and going, whoa, look at that moon. And we will look at this heavily aspected moon in a minute. But on the inside, in the inner world, the archetypes have power. That's where they can stretch themselves and they can do things because you're now in their world. You're a participant in their world, but they exist for you and you alone. They are your archetypes. So I want you to remember that when you do your inner work with the archetypes, remember, and all of these guys are all archetypes. They're all parts of your inner world, and you can visit any one of them at any time. when you're in that world, they're like, oh, wow, the goddess has returned, or, the king is here, the queen is here, the emperor, the empress, whoever they see you as. So they're your community. You're in charge. They exist so that you can move yourself forward spiritually. Right. Now, to do that, you do need to know the basics of astrology. And if you haven't got my free astrology course on psychological astrology, the link is on my website. Jump in there, click it, and you can do, it's only 4 lessons, self-paced. There's no exams, but it gives you all the important stuff that I believe you need to know to lay those solid foundations of understanding astrology, Western astrology. Right. Sun and moon, as I said, on the chart, on the page to an astrologer is like, this is how they operate. But when you close your eyes, you've got some music in the background. Don't use voices, don't use songs, just have music. Because the brain attends to human words and it can break you out of trance. So ocean waves, rain on the tin roof. A lot of people love thunderstorms, I do. A river, bird sounds, wind in the trees, or just any pleasant music. Something in the background that will help take you deeper and deeper. And remember, I do a lot of progressive relaxation, and my meditations are all on my website, and they're also on SoundCloud. They're free, so you take advantage of them. A lot of people do. People tell me that I put them to sleep at night, which is lovely. The inner world, you access the inner world by going down through the layers of consciousness, and eventually you come to the very narrow gap of the unconscious, or the hypnagogic state, the lucid state. Below the lucid state is you're asleep. So we want to come down, 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 boom. When we get to that level where you're no longer awake, then you're in the inner world. It's only a narrow gap though, so we train to make it wider and wider by doing our breathing meditations, by engaging in the archetypes, holding their hands, talking to them, letting our mind wander. And it's a practice effect. The more you practice, the better you get at it. So that's the secret of all the inner work that you do. Practice, 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 and you get really good at it. So we're going to meet the sun. So this is how I do it. I'm doing a progressive relaxation, going through my eyes, my cheeks, my jaw. I go down through my body and relax till I'm a blob of jelly. And then I imagine that I'm at a beach. There's the waves just over there. I'm standing on the sand. I can feel the sand with my feet, bare feet. And up there is the sun. And I ask the sun to come down and appear before me in a human form. So you can join me in this meditation as I walk you through, and then practice at home, because remember, these 2 archetypes are the most powerful archetypes. Without the sun and moon, we have no life. We have no journey of life. So that's how critical they are. In your inner world, they become your protectors. They are your inner guides that can be with you in every single meditation that you do. And with practice, they'll even be with you in your dreams. So this is a very worthwhile meditation. So let's go. You've got your chart in front of you. You know what sign and house your sun's in. You've got all the keywords. Let it go. Do the same with the moon. You look at the keywords for the sign and the house. Then let that go, and then come with me. You don't need to be lying on a couch or in the lotus position. I do this with clients just sitting in the chair. I just say, close your eyes, breathe in and out, relaxing. Come into your body, feel your body relax. As you breathe out, let it go, let it go, let it go. I might do that progressive relaxation, and boom, I'm at the beach. Or you could be at a sanctuary, somewhere safe for you. The beach, the river, in a garden, in a park, in a cottage, in front of the nice warm fire, up in the mountains, wherever you feel safe. You look at the sun and you invite the sun to come and appear before you in a human form, and accept the first presentation that he or she makes for you. And if you're comfortable, and it's very, very uncommon for people to say they're not comfortable. In fact, I don't even know if I've ever had a single person say they're not comfortable. You put your hands out to them, palms up, and ask them to take your hands in theirs and to send all the love and the light that they have into you, as much as you can soak up, as much as you can take. And then you become passive. Very, very passive. You just let go and soak that energy in. And I want you to try your hardest to feel it. I want you to swoon with it, because most of the time you'll fall unconscious because it feels so good. And with practice it gets stronger and stronger, and cool stuff happens. And then when he or she's filled, the sun has filled you up, let go of their hands. And now you can ask any questions that you like. Remember, when you start off, you're going to get weird stuff happening, because your imagination, your conscious mind, will no doubt butt in and interrupt things because it's not used to this. So don't expect to have too much happening initially. And then one little secret that Edwin Steinbrecher says is ask the same question 3 times. You go into trance 3 separate times and ask the same question, and each time you'll get a more refined, more accurate answer. In other words, you're training your unconscious to be more accurate and be more refined in its connection with you, your inner world, and your psyche. Now the next part, meeting the moon, what I do is now I go to a lake. There's a trees around to the side on my left-hand side, and there's this barely almost ripple-free lake surface, and on the other side of the lake is a full moon rising, and it sheds this beautiful, like a stairway to heaven. This moonbeam goes along the lake surface, and it's really cool. And then I ask the sun to introduce me to the moon, and for the moon to come and appear before me in a human form. And she will just float down on a moonbeam. It's pretty cool stuff. And again, I put my hands out, palms up, and ask her to send all her love and her light into me, to take my hands. And I want to feel the texture of her hands. And then I relax and become very passive and feel the energy as she flows into me. And it's different sort of energy. You'll notice that yourself. Energy of all the archetypes will be subtly different to each other. As much as I can take. And I'll become very passive and just relax and just go into a deeper state of trance. And the same thing, when she's finished, she'll let go, or you can let go. And then you can ask her any questions you like. Then you take the sun on one hand and the moon in the other, and they join hands to form a circle. And you ask them to balance their energies within you. Again, you become passive. Breathe in and out and just let it go. Every meditation that you do from now on, do this to start with. It only takes about a minute. In fact, you might just want to do that little circle of the 3 of you holding hands and balancing to start every meditation. With practice, it gets better. Believe me. Okay, come on back. I'm going to just throw up some pictures. So here's my picture of the sun. As you can see, this is above the clouds. Someone's flying in an aeroplane, but it looks too good for me to go past. And you just accept whatever the sun presents or the moon presents. It'll be anything, but with practice it'll get better and better. This is the King of Rods from the Hanson Roberts deck. So sometimes you'll get like a kingly figure come up. There's the Leo the lion. And who rules Leo? The sun. Who rules rods or wands is the sun. Sometimes you'll get a guru, the wise man, as a sun archetype. Who else have we got? I found this. This was on a manga site. Don't ask me how I found it, but how cool is that? Your sun is powerful. And in your inner world, he represents your strength. And, well, if you have a manga figure come up in your meditations, please let me know. Here we have the moon. This is a beautiful picture too. Oh, here's... gee, look, one day I'll get a degree in how to use computers. Here's what I was talking about, that moonbeam across the lake. Here we are standing on the edge, there's the trees to the side, and then the moon comes down, the moon archetype floats down all the way to you. And it's night time, of course. This is a little bit like the moon that I see. She comes down, she's got this white sort of gossamer flowing robes on. She doesn't have black hair. My moon doesn't have black hair. It's more a browny sort of lighter. Whoops. Here's another one. This is the 3 phases of the moon. I just had to throw this in because it looks pretty cool. We've got the maiden, the matron, and the crone. 3 phases. Here's another one of the moon archetype. She's a lot more glamorous, much more glamorous than my moon. And here's a pretty cool one. I think this is a Greek goddess that I found. Some of these I found on deviantart.com. So if you're ever looking for good pictures, that's a good place to go. Here is Diana, the goddess of the moon in Roman mythology. And there's hundreds of goddesses of the moon throughout all the cultures, so you don't need to stick to any one. And this is the holding hands. You'd be surprised how hard it was to find people holding hands this way. Usually it's next to each other. But that's what obviously this is a lover's picture because she's not holding hands properly, but you're holding hands to soak up the energy. That's a bit more like it there. So your hands are underneath and you're receiving the energy. Oh, here we have another archetype. What else have I got? I think that's about it. So there's your meet the sun and moon archetypes in your astrology chart. Have fun. Like, make it a point to do this on a regular basis, like every day. You don't need to spend hours and hours doing this. 1-minute meditations is fine. You just breathe in and out, close your eyes, put your hands out, and boom, feel it. Just feel. Soak it up, because as the energy flows through your body, you're relaxing and you're going into that hypnagogic state, into the lucid state, just by going with the flow of the energy through your body. But do it every single day. Anyway, that was a bit of fun, and I think I'm going to try and do another meditation later on. So thank you and have fun. If you like this, please leave a comment, hit the like button, and tell your friends.